Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nima.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 4, Section 1 of the picture of Dorian Gray.
As.
Ah.
The picture of Dorian Gray. Oscar Wilde. Chapter 4, Section 1. One afternoon, a month later, Dorian Gray was reclining in a luxurious armchair in the little library of Lord Emery's house in Mayfair. It was, in its way, a very charming room, with its high panelled wainscoting of olive-stained oak, its cream-coloured frieze and ceiling of raised plasterwork, and its bricked asphalt carpet strewn with silk, one French Persian rugs. On a tiny satin-wood table stood a statuette by Claudian, and beside it lay a copy of Les Sept Nouvelles, bound for Margaret of Valois by Clavesive and powdered with the gold daisies that Queen had selected for her device. Some large blue china jars and pearl tulips were ranged on the mantel shelf, and through the small leaded panes of the window streamed the apricot-coloured light of a summer day in London. Lord Henry had not yet come in. He was always late on principle, his principle being that punctuality is the thief of time. So the lad was looking rather sulky. As with listless fingers he turned over the pages of an elaborately illustrated edition of Manon Lescaut that he had found in one of the bookcases. The formal monotonous ticking of the Louis Quarters clock annoyed him. Once or twice he thought of going away. At last he heard a step outside, and the door opened. "How late you are." "Harry," he murmured. "I am afraid it is not, Harry." "Waste it." Gray answered a shrill voice. He glanced quickly round and rose to his feet. "I beg your pardon. You thought it was my husband. It is only his wife. You must let me introduce myself. I know you quite well by your photographs. Not 17. But 18. Then, and I saw you with him the other night at the opera." She laughed nervously as she spoke, and watched him with her vague forget-me-not eyes. She was a curious woman, whose dresses always looked as if they had been designed in a rage and pert, on in a tempest. She was usually in love with somebody, and as her passion was never returned, she had capped all her illusions. She tried to look picturesque, but only succeeded in being untidy. Her name was Victoria, and she had a perfect mania for going to church. That was at Lohengrin. Lady and me. Yes. It was at the Lohengrin. I like Wagner's music better than anybody's. It is so loud that one can talk the whole time without other people hearing what one says. That is a great advantage. Don't you think so? Waste it. The same nervous staccato laugh broke from her thin lips, and her fingers began to play with a long tortoiseshell paper knife. Dorian smiled and shook his head. "I am afraid I don't think so, Lady Henry. I never talk during music, at least. During good music. If one hears bad music. Ah, that is one of Harry's views, isn't it?" Corey. I always hear Harry's views from his friends. It is the only way I get to know of them. But you must not think I don't like good music. I adore it. But I am afraid of it. It makes me too romantic. I have simply worshipped pianist at a time. Sometimes. Harry tells me. I don't know what it is about them. Perhaps it is that they are foreigners. They all are. Ain't they? Even those that are born in England become foreigners after a time. Don't they? It is so clever of them. And such a compliment to our art. Makes it quite cosmopolitan. Doesn't it? You have ever been to any of my parties? Have you? Wisst it? Corey. You must come. I can afford orchids. I spare no expense in foreigners. They make one's rooms look so picturesque. But here is Harry. Harry. I came in to look for you. To ask you something you forget what it wishing I found Mr. Grey here. We have had such a pleasant chat about music. We have quite the same ideas. No. I think our ideas are quite different. But he has been most pleasant. I am charmed. My love. Quite charmed, said Lord Henry, elevating his dark, crescent-shaped eyebrows and looking at them both with an amused smile. So sorry I am late. Dorian. I went to look after a piece of old brocade in Wardour Street and had to bargain for hours for it. I am afraid I must be going, exclaimed Lady Henry, breaking an awkward silence with her silly sudden laugh. I have promised to drive with the Duchess. Goodbye. Wisst it? Perth. Goodbye. Harry. You are dining out. I suppose. So am I. I just say. My dear, said Lord Henry, shutting the door behind her as, looking like a bird of paradise that had been out all night in the rain, she flitted out of the room, leaving a soldier a frangipani. Then he lit a cigarette and flung himself down on the sofa. Never marry a woman with straw-coloured hair. Dorian, he said after a few puffs. To be continued.